Hey everyone, happy holidays and happy new year. This is going to be a Christmas dash pickups video, but more importantly, my Secret Santa video. I'm part of another gaming podcast, Secret Santa. Last year, Chance picked my name, or he got my name, and this year he got it again. So I will show the goodies he sent. I got these in about 2 days ago. First up is Mad Sally's Ethiopian from Ghost Roast in Kansas. I don't have a grinder, so I haven't tried it yet, but it smells really good and it's making this room smell delicious. So thanks for that. I love local foods and seasonings. Next up, he sent this is kangaroo with beef jerky, but he also sent ostrich. Now I have the stomach of an 80-year-old man, so I couldn't eat this, but my wife dove in and said they were really good. She also used this as a talking point at her dad's Christmas dinner, which we went to that night, to keep saying, "Oh, I ate ostrich today." And it's like, well, you ate beef jerky, but okay, we technically. He also sent, after talking with Crack Lotus, he knew I was looking for this Yoshi amiibo. I don't plan on collecting the amiibos, but I love the character mold on this. It looks like it's the strut. It cracks me up. If you've ever seen the sketch comedy show Snuffbox, there's one skit where a guy keeps helping women, and he acts like he's a gentleman, and when he finds out they have a boyfriend, he does something terrible. This kind of reminds me of his attitude. I'll try to find a link, clip of it, and I'll link it below. And I also, since then, picked up Samus. What I find interesting is I'm not a huge Metroid fan, or Sonic or Mega Man, but I really like those molds. But those are the ones I like the most. So I'll probably getting a few more of these. Well, I know I will. Like I said, Sonic and Mega Man, if I can find them, or whenever they come back in stock, because I think the pre-orders are sold out. And I think the Zelda mold looks good too. I'm not sure why I'm being drawn to these characters. I'm not a huge fan of, although I do like Yoshi a lot. He also sent one last item, and that is Street Fighter Cross Tekken. Now, me and him in the past have played Street Fighter 3 Third Strike and Street Fighter 4 a good bit. It's been a little while, but that's because he kind of got addicted to Street Fighter Cross Tekken. I only own this for the 360. They did have it on PS Plus for the Vita, so I thought that would be a good substitute. And I absolutely hated the Vita's controls for it. Like, I could not do anything. The directional pad wasn't deep enough, and the analog stick, it had too limited range for me. I always felt like I was going to break it trying to do a fireball. But now I have this, and hopefully we'll be seeing each other again online soon. So Chance, thanks so much, or Doomwaves, if you're more familiar with his YouTube channel. Thanks so much for this. Really great items. Great guy. I've talked to him, I guess, a couple years now. Super friendly. And Merry Christmas to you, bud. And thanks for all these wonderful items. Stand-up guy. I'll also show some other gifts I got in first. This is from my brother. Now, I'll just show it first. This is Earl, also known as Early Bird, Earl Grey, or Erlwin Rommel, the living room fox. My brother went overseas on a little trip for a few months, years and years back, and he left Earl with my parents and said, "Hey, would you look out for him?" And they said, "Sure." Well, my dad fell in love with the cat, and I did too. I was still there because I was going to school. This is years back. My mom couldn't stand him because Earl is like this. He's very temperamental and like snotty, but it's also hilarious. So when he was overseas, he got a job offer, so he immediately came back. He immediately left for I don't know, months and months. When he came back to the U.S., he found a place about 5 states away and just immediately settled in there. So my parents ended up taking care of Earl for like 7 years, and I was there for several years of that. And ever since he came back for good, he took Earl back with him, and me and my dad always mess with my mom about what Earl would do or say about situations because she just couldn't she couldn't stand him. Let me give you a good example of Earl's personality. One time I came into the living room. He had a little mouse in his mouth. I said, "Earl, put the mouse down." And he looked at me. I said, "Put the mouse down, Earl." And he cocked his head trying to snap the mouse's neck. I was like, "Oh, you little bastard." But unfortunately, all of Earl's brothers and sisters were lost during a hurricane years back, so he's the only one. So I guess he's really moody about that. But my brother gave my dad a framed picture, another one where he's looking pretty majestic, like a sphinx, and I got this one, which I took years and years ago. He found it. So thanks for that. This is going in a place of honor because we all love Earl. Let me put Earl to the side with all the respect he deserves and deference. Now, a friend of mine came over and he got me a few items. We have a Christmas dinner with him. He comes over. My dad makes him some steak or some barbecue, and we hang out and chat. And that's kind of like that. That's what rounds out my Christmas day. He got me these GoBots DVDs. There's a second disc as well. He said these are print on demand. I haven't seen GoBots in years, but I actually watched some of the movie last year or earlier this summer, and I was surprised at how rough the animation was. But even as a kid, I knew these weren't as cool as Transformers. But it was really nice of them to get me both discs. So I have Challenge of the GoBots, and I think the other is just called Disc 2. And he also got me Castlevania the Dracula X Chronicles. Now, I did recently, or somewhat recently, get this already at GameStop. I asked if he wanted to sell it, and he said, no, I got it at a garage sale. Keep it and do whatever you want with it. So I have, the other one's not the greatest hits, but this one's the greatest hit. So I have Castlevania. Thanks, buddy. And speaking of Castlevania, my wife got me, this is Hardcore Gaming's Castlevania. This is going to be a theme. I'm not huge into Castlevania. I do like several of the titles, but I love books like this that go into a lot of detail. This is just let's see. This is Dracula X. So you get tons of screenshots, character bios, history of the games, box art from the different regions. I have their Sega Arcade Classics Volume 1, and there are a number of typographical errors in it, and I've already noticed quite a few in this as well. But, it's more like a passion project, I think. It's a bunch of people getting together, talking about something they love, putting in a bunch of information as much as they can, and I appreciate that. It's not it's not from a major publisher. It's just some people getting together, so I can ignore the errors and see there's games that are like Castlevania. So they try to give you as much as possible, and I love this. It's a collection of sprites that show the monsters' art style progression throughout the years. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Here's the Game Boy versions, Nintendo. Of course, I'm not going to be able to find it, but here it is. You get to see all of the pixel art from the different incarnations of various characters. So this is going to be a lot of fun. She also, because I was trying to find this to stream because I love this movie, and I would usually just rent it. I used to work at a video store and I haven't seen it for years. We don't have cable anymore, so I don't catch it on cable. But she got me the game, and we already watched this. It's a thriller with Michael Douglas and Sean Penn. Still holds up, a lot of fun. If you haven't seen this, definitely check it out. She knows I'm a big Calvin and Hobbes fans, and she found a stamp. Apparently, 2 or 3 years ago, there were 3 Calvin and Hobbes stamps that went on the market. I'd never heard of it. I read something about it earlier this year, and I kind of forgot about it. And she went and tracked one down for me. So I got this stamp. I'm going to put this in my frame of the last comic. My mom cut it out for me years back, or she saved the sheet. It's the very last one from '95, so I'm going to put that in there. And I completely forgot I had mentioned this to her, but she got me Ease, Memories of Celceta. So I haven't tried this yet. Just got it, of course. But really surprised to have this. And she also got me another Vita memory card, which is sorely needed, so I'll be playing this soon. I'll go over the non-gaming stuff first. These are some gifts sprinkled with former pick. This is just kind of choice of the pickups, choice cuts, I guess. I don't want to go grab everything. I filmed like 3 pickup videos, but each time I wasn't a big fan of it, and I thought, I just keep doing pickup videos. But it's accumulated, and I really don't have time for much else. And I like chatting with people when they comment, so I decided to roll it into the Christmas one. Now, some of this is pickups from a while back. Some of this are gifts, and some are actually, I got a Christmas bonus, and it was which I kind of I knew about and already spent towards. That's what these previous pickups and some in the past were from. But it was more than I thought. My pay was cut pretty drastically, and what they had done was to hedge their bets. They made, I could have earned more, and I didn't know that, but they put it aside. So when I got my bonus, I got a little extra lump sum of them saying, some things have worked out. They're waiting some contracts to be signed. And this was some of your pay we set aside. And basically, whenever these contracts completely get renewed, which is in 3 days, they'll roll the rest into like next year's bonus. So I got a bonus, so I've spent some of that already. But some of the films I got were Jacob's Ladder on Blu-ray. This was about $8 on Amazon. So I sent the link to my parents going, my mom was wondering around September what I wanted. It's like, get this. And this was about 10 when I found it, Prince of Darkness. My brother saw this and flipped out because there's this one scene in there we both love where this person has a dream of a transmission from the future, which in this movie is 1999. And that's it. That's the transmission. If you've seen that scene, you can look it up on YouTube. It's one of the most effective horror scenes I've seen. So this is a really fun movie. Now these two, I was actually going to buy. I was with my dad at Target, and I saw these two for $4.75 each. Total Recall and Terminator 2, and I thought, that's a great deal. And as I was walking to the line with him, he said, "Whoa, let me put those in your stocking. Just give them to me." So yeah, if you have a Target nearby and they haven't sold out and you're interested, these were $4.75 a piece. They also had for $4.75 The Usual Suspects. I want to say Moulin Rouge and a few other movies. I wouldn't have minded getting The Usual Suspects then, but he actually grabbed that for my stocking as well because they only had one or two left, which I didn't see he did it. So thanks, Dad. But I got those. A few of the books I got, I'm really into late antiquity. So I have this is from my wife, History of the Later Roman Empire, from the death of Theodosius to the death of Justinian. This one was pretty fun. It's a used copy. And I've read some of it. It's really good. Byzantium, the early years. But what's funny is someone owned this as a book for school, and they put a lot of notes in it. Actually, helpful notes. Like they'll mention someone's name, and they'll have, you can see their handwriting here. They'll mention someone's name and have every bit that relates to them underlined. So it's a nice little summary. They also have funny jokes in here. I'm not sure who they were writing to, but they wrote jokes in relation to the text. But this was about $10 used, and it was quite a bit more new. So this worked out to be a really good used deal. So far, a lot of fun. This kind of annoyed me because I thought this might have been a used book. It's after Alexander, the time of I think it's Diadochi. I really like the successor period, but it's got this weird red on the spine. And I thought this was used, and I checked my wish list, and this is new from Amazon. And that really bugged me because that's gross. I don't know what that is. I don't like it, but I heard Amazon will ban you if you return too much stuff, so I'll just keep it. I'll write a little complaint when they asked how was it packaged or something. Another book I got, this is The Life of Saint Severin. Now, I got this because I read of a story, and this is the only book that mentions this story. I'm always curious about the collapse of the Western Roman Empire's administration. This has a good story in it where some soldiers stationed in, I think it's Switzerland, which is Raetia, they haven't been paid for a few months. So they send a group of soldiers to go collect in Italy, and when they get there, they find out there is no more Roman emperor. He's been deposed. So they travel back to their unit, and they are killed, and some townsfolk find their bodies washed on the shore. I thought that was a really neat story, and apparently Severin lived during the era, and in those regions, and so the book is just filled with stories of what it was like when the Western Emperor. It gets murky because there's still an emperor in like Dalmatia, but in Italy, I should say, in Italy and the surrounding area, Italy, Western and Central Europe, I'd say. What it was like when that administration starts to break down, which is really missing in a lot of the works I read. They talk about, there was a transition where a lot of a lot of the groups kept a lot of their Roman administrations and posts, but it still doesn't explain everything because it did start breaking apart, and this will explain that. And so I thought that was really cool. If you saw Crack Los's video, I was his Secret Santa, so I actually picked up myself a copy of Neo Geo Battle Coliseum and Macon or Macon X, both sealed. This from two different sellers, and they had a great price. I couldn't pass it up. I actually had Macon X or Macon X whenever it first came out, and I beat it back then. And when he had it on his list, and I ran across it again, I thought, man, I should really get that. This seller took $20 shipped for Final Zone. Of course, I think everyone's seen this on Happy Console Gamer with the voiceover work. So I've been wanting to try it for myself, and I like the art on that cover. Pretty cool. I was surprised he had it for like 22 with free shipping or 23 make an offer, and that was already cheaper than everyone else. So I thought, I'll just put 20, and he took it. So good on him and me. In Crack Lotus's end of the year video, he mentioned this Deception 4. This is what I got with some of my extra bonus money. They only had like 20 of these left at $30. So I went ahead and grabbed the PS3 version. I like the series, but I haven't played it in years. My friend had the first two on the first PlayStation. I also purchased, this is an older one, Persona Q. I regret getting this premium edition. I wanted the soundtrack, and I don't have a 3DS XL, so the case won't come in handy, but I thought, I like Atlus's stuff. And then, of course, Amazon sent it, and it got banged up. Thanks, Amazon. I was talking to Crack about this, and he gets his stuff from GameStop when it comes to premium editions. And I'm just going to have to do it because there's a dent all along the side here because Amazon just threw it in a box and it got banged around. But in any event, when he got his, I start seeing, he kind of complained about it, and then others complained how the premium edition items aren't that great. And I thought, damn it, I would have loved to save some money and just got the limited edition one. But in any event, I got this. Haven't cracked it open yet because I beat Tales of Hearts R, and that took me 40 hours. So I kind of wanted to, I thought it was going to take about 20, but it moved quickly, but it was just much longer than I thought. So I switched to Grand Theft Auto 5 on the PlayStation 4. I played a good bit of that. Played a lot of Grand Theft Auto Online. Then I switched to the Master Chief Collection. I got a code of that in for Xbox One. And now a lot of it's working pretty good. Online's working all right. There's still some pop-up and slowdown in single player, which is mind-boggling to me because Halo 1's been out for over 10 years and the Anniversary Edition has been out for almost 3, and that's what's included. And Halo 2 Anniversary, though, looks great, but still has some drawing. So they really need to fix that. I picked this up a while back before Christmas. This is a rhythm game for the PlayStation 2. This is just on the case, this writing. Man, this game is hard. You have to hit buttons in time with these little icons, and they will boo you off the stage if you don't do well. But it's all Christmas-themed music, so I had to get it, and I burned it with ESR. Works on my PS2, couldn't be happier, because this is actually a CD and not a DVD. But this was $10 from someone in the US. I was surprised. I think a reason for that is they wrote sports on the disc. I guess they were under the impression this was a sports game. The only thing I bought for Black Friday was on Amazon. They had Shadows of Mordor for $25, so I got that. Picked this up for $10, Street Fighter Zero to go with my Alpha collection. It came complete, so really happy. I really love the spine cards. I know sometimes spine cards add too much to the value of something, but when it comes to when they add art or something like that, I really like that. Adds a lot to the package. Showed this in my PlayStation video, but I got in Vanguard Bandits. This was cheaper than, probably $20 cheaper than usual because the manual has the staples on top instead of on the side, which I thought was a defect. But since then, I've seen about 4 with staples on the top, and the rest have them on the side. The manual's really thick, so I guess it was just, maybe different manufacturing plants did it differently. But it came complete. This was only $10, but it's just the box, Contra Hardcore. This is a project I have going on. I'm going to get the manual. A few people had the manual and cart only, so it shouldn't be too hard to complete this. But $10, and this thing is absolutely mint. And going with that, I actually picked up 2 manuals. I thought I brought one in here with me. I picked up a manual for Shadowrun on the Genesis. It was $8. It's not in the best of condition, but the seller mentioned that, and that was fine. I just really wanted one to have it complete, and I picked up one for Phantasy Star 2. Now, I think I showed this in a previous video, but this does work in my Model 3 US, so if you're interested, it's a strategy game with mechs. Not all English, but you can feel your way around. If you were interested, you can play this in your Genesis 3. Now, I picked up, I've been wanting, well actually initially I picked up Wipeout 3 sealed. It's kind of beat up, but it was like $13 or $14 sealed. Because I have it coming in. It's Wipeout HD Fury. It's for PlayStation 3. Over here, it only came out on PSP. And it's a disc copy from Europe. And then I ran across this. This is Wipeout with the slipcover. I have wanted this slipcover. I didn't know the slipcover existed until probably like 5 or 6 years ago. And every time I see it, it's beat up. So I paid about $25 for this. But this slipcover is immaculate. The game itself looks like it was never touched. The manual looks like it was never touched. But the original Wipeout came with this slipcover. You can see this is for hint codes. Call 1-800 or 1-900. It's the Sony hint line. It's actually taped shut because it's a an alarm's going off. It's actually taped shut. Means I have to go in a minute. So you can unflap it or open it up, but I left it sealed, or the slipcase sealed with the tape. The game itself just slides out. Here's the card. This is the original cardboard box. But I've been so happy. I've been wanting this for years, and this guy had it in just perfect condition. So, you know, big thumbs up on that. I picked this up for $12 shipped. It's Fantasy Zone for the Master System. I don't have many Master System games, and I wanted to give it a few to give the system a shot. This was really cheap. It's like a looks like a Pac-Man-esque clone. What's funny is these are pictures of a TV playing the game. You can see the edges are rounded. Someone just took a camera and snapshotted a CRT. So I got that in. From a forum, I picked up Android Assault. This was a good price, but it is missing the registration. Which, you know, when you're younger, sending in registration cards makes a lot of sense. If it breaks, you don't want to pay for it. But when you get older, you're like, oh, just when you run across this, look at it. This is a piece of my heart missing. But because it was missing the registration card, the guy was selling it. Oh, man. Let's see. I think it was about, well, actually, it wasn't too much cheaper than other ones, but everything else about this was in much better shape. So, yeah, I would say still about a $10 savings, which is not bad. And this is a shooter. I looked some footage up on YouTube, and it looks awesome. So, another for the Sega CD collection. And finally for the video, I got in, let me take out the box here, Class of Heroes 2G for PlayStation 3. This was supposed to come out back in August, and that's when I planned on playing it, but it came out, I actually got mine later than everyone else on YouTube, it seems. Like, Crack got his, and I didn't get mine in for weeks. But, yeah, it's a dungeon crawler that came out for the PSP, and they made it for PS3. It's a limited run. This is 18 something. It's hard to see. It's a little holographic sticker. Like I said, I fully intended on playing this when it came out, but this is kind of way back in the line now because I picked up Suikoden 2 on the PSN. I'm already playing that off and on. So I'm going to play that, and I'm going to play Vanguard Bandits or Persona Q. It's tough. Too many role-playing games. So yeah, this one's definitely, when you put this up against those, there's no real competition. This was going to be a fun, like, interesting diversion, but now, you know, sorry Monkey Paw, but it doesn't hold up to those. But in any event, thanks for watching another 20-minute video. Sorry about that. I'll try to put up some more gameplay footage or something to break up these pickup videos. I'd like to do more impressions and reviews, but I don't know. I'll think to myself what I want to say, and then I just won't make the video. Mentally, I'm like, oh, that's good enough. But in any event, because I'm repeating myself, thanks for watching. And again, happy holidays and happy new year. And I will talk to everyone later.